Yeah, so we are observing events that are happening across the globe on a 24-hour basis, and we define an event as anything that will give rise to a catastrophic loss for our insurance community, be that because of volume of claim, claim count, or total insured value exposed. So we're monitoring the exposed assets that each of our insurers have on their books constantly to see, is there an event that's threatening a huge surge in claims or any other output that would lead to your claims teams having to deliver a non-standard response, or anything that's going to cause a surge in loss adjusting fees and availability, or anything that's going to fundamentally change the way you underwrite, price, select risk. And so we do that on your, the things you'd expect us: natural disasters, hurricanes, floods, wildfire. You can tell we're busy when we're talking about those things. We don't need to tell this community that. But also on the man-made disasters as well that we're seeing. We've covered riots, explosions. The longest event that we are covering is the conflict in Ukraine, so we're monitoring that daily as well, looking at how areas are changing, properties that have been destroyed, key infrastructure impacted, access to ports, those sorts of things. And our responsibility is, first of all, making sure that we can accurately represent what's happening on the ground as it's happening. So nothing that we're doing is modelled. Nothing's predictive, so we're not competing with cat models, for example. We see ourselves as a complementary service. We can say, this is what the model might say, this is what your underwriting assumptions were, but these are your exposures, and this is what's happening on the ground around those exposures as we speak. And we'll be using things like device data, so we can see, are roads open or not. We'll be looking at, what does the satellite tell us? Do we need to send an aerial plane over to capture some high resolution imagery? I mean, we had a hail event in the UK this week. It's difficult to see any impact of that from a satellite. Do we need to deploy a drone team? So we'll make use of a variety of data sources and providers to build an accurate a representation of what's happening on the ground. And then crucially, this comes back to our point about making it useful and actually accessible, tying it back to your exposure. So there's no good me saying, oh, here's a picture of a damaged property. You need to know, is it one that you insure? How damaged is that property? What portfolio is it part of? Who's the broker? And all that information needs to be accessible to you at the moment we tell you something's happened. For us to have a product that actually is useful and not just creates another 10 questions or another 10 processes for your staff.